Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast, Are You Feeding the Best Part of Yourself? And today's episode is inspired by a story you may have heard before, but it's one that holds a profound lesson that we often forget in the rush of daily life. An old Cherokee grandfather was teaching his grandson about life. He said, "A fight is going on inside me. It's a terrible fight between two wolves. One is evil. He is angry, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." He looked at the boy and said, "The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too." The grandson thought about it for a moment, and then he asked, "Which wolf will win?" The grandfather replied, "The one you feed." And this story has lived for generations because it tells a simple truth. Every day, in every moment, we are feeding something inside of us. The question is, what are we feeding? Are we nurturing fear, comparison, and control? Or are we choosing compassion, gratitude, and grace? And sometimes it's not so clear. Life gets hard. We get tired. Someone hurts us. We feel rejected, afraid, overwhelmed. And in these moments, when we feel so far from our light, that is the moment we need to ask ourselves, which wolf am I feeding? And there's no shame in feeding the darker wolf. We all do it. It's part of being a human. But suffering often begins when we don't realize we've been doing it. And that's when negativity becomes a habit instead of a choice. And for the last 6 years, when I go to sleep and when I wake up, even though I've done so much wonderful work on myself and I've let go of so much, there's something about the evening when I'm alone that just reminds me of my husband leaving. It reminds me of the pain. And that part of me at this point leads me down to a place where I am feeding a negative side of me. I am feeding victimhood. I am feeding a part of my ego. I am feeding a place where I can get stuck and just feel bad. Yes, there have been times for recognition and dealing with my feelings, but I'm actually feeding it at this point. And the same thing happens when I wake up in the morning. I have to be so careful when I'm thinking about facing my day, especially if you wake up and you're tired and you don't feel good. What are you going to feed? I have so much to do today. Look at all my burdens. Look at my life. It's not how I thought it was going to be. And again, you have to acknowledge how you feel. But after a while, there's nowhere to go. And that's where I've hit in my life. That even when these thoughts come up, there's nowhere to go with them. Do I ever discover new things? Sure. Sometimes I'll have a memory or sometimes I'll have an epiphany. But overall, when it comes to living my life in this moment and planning my future, there's nowhere to go. So when I feed the wolf of negativity, I'm just feeding my past and I'm not feeding my present and I'm not feeding my future. So at night, when it starts to come up, I start thinking about the gratitude of the life that I have. I write down desires and goals and try to do meditations that open my heart. And I don't fight with the negativity. I don't resist it, but I open my heart to so many wonderful things that I start feeding another side. And the same thing in the morning. Sometimes I journal. Sometimes I'll do a gratitude practice. Sometimes I'll just be thankful that my feet hit the ground. And I'll start to chant and sing and do some rituals or exercises that lift my spirits. And I know I am feeding that part of me that's gorgeous and open-hearted and connected to universal life force energy and connected to all the things in my life that I love and I want to achieve. And that's the wolf I like to feed. But we also have to recognize that there will always be two wolves inside of us. And I think that's something I didn't realize for a long time. I thought I was going to do all this work on myself and then there was just going to be all this light, and there is more light. But darkness is part of our lives. Sadness, negativity, hurt, pain, confusion, doubt, and even comparisons and jealousy. Whatever comes up for you, it's something life is showing you. And how do you want to grow from it? How do you want to expand from it? But if you keep feeding it, you live in it. And then you live in the darkness and the negativity. And that's a very difficult, challenging place to live when you want to make changes in your life and you want to find joy and you want to find love. And I know so many of you know this in your life. You're at a meeting and someone's really bothering you. Do you want to feed the irritation? Do you want to feed the judgment? Or do you want to rise above it? Do you want to feed that part of yourselves that doesn't have to defend anything? That you could sit there and let people say what they say and just know how you see it and state your position and explain why, and not let the undercurrent of the resistance or things you don't like take you down, because then you're feeding a part of yourself that's going to get stuck, that you're doing your life's work, but you're angry and you're irritated, and then your heart closes in a way. And the experience is not as fulfilling and meaningful, even if you get good things done. When you come home and things are not the way you expected them to be, when the world's not the way you expected it to be, do you want to feed the wolf of anger? Do you want to get stuck? Do you want to give your life purpose away and give your joy away to become afraid and negative and live in that place of fear? Or do you want to feed something else? Feed your truth, feed your heart, feed your creativity, feed your love, feed your joy. And decide how you can take that light into the world and do the things you want to. We will always have both sides of ourselves, and we choose perspective and we choose where we want to be. Does it mean we won't have pain and suffering? Of course not. But we're on the playing field of infinite possibilities every time we feed our humility, our grace, our gratitude, our love, our kindness. That's where the infinite field is. Because what that means, we're not afraid. We're not afraid of uncertainty. When we're afraid of uncertainty, we feed a negative part of ourselves because we believe we have to seek safety to be okay. We have to seek our lower self. We have to find what's familiar. We have to compromise ourselves. And all those things are a state of seeking certainty. And that's a fear, and that's a part of us that doesn't flourish and grow the same way. But when we allow ourselves to be kind in the face of uncertainty and loving and open-hearted and seek gratitude in uncomfortable moments, then we are embracing uncertainty and living on the unlimited field. And I could promise you that when you live that life and you feed that part of yourself that's so gorgeous, that's so light, that's so open, that's so available, life expands. It just does. When you least expect it, dreams come true. They really do. Miracles really do happen. But we decide every day which part of ourselves will grow. We decide every day how much we're going to let other people's moods and anxieties and judgments feed the lower part of ourselves, the negative part of ourselves. And again, we should not shame ourselves on the days that we're negative, or we compare and we feel bad about ourselves, or we lose our way. We all do. But again, like I said, there's a difference when we're negative and it's some thoughts and it's an experience, and when it becomes a habit. Because when it becomes a habit, it becomes a way of life. Even when we lose a husband, even when we lose a job, even when we lose a friend, even when we lose our money, we feed the wrong part of ourselves because we get scared, because we feel vulnerable. But if we realize that life has maybe an uncertainty is our best friend, we will always know there's an infinite field out there for us to keep creating and finding things in our lives that we love. The light is always with us, even when it feels far away. Even when you've been feeding, like I said, the wrong wolf for days, weeks, or longer, the light is still there waiting for us to come home. So let today be an invitation to pause, to breathe, to choose, to remember that the fight between the wolves is not something to fear. It's just life. And you are powerful and you are capable, and you can choose again and again to feed what is pure and present and good within you. And that is our choice. And that is where less suffering begins. Because we're not rigid, we're not uptight, we're allowing the flow of life, we're allowing things to be, and we're allowing our best self to come forward. And for all we know, maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe, A Year Without Men, Maybe Everything's Okay, A Parent's Guide to Less Stress and Worry, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. If you'd like to buy my Maybe cards or my Maybe digital journal, they're available on Amazon, Etsy, and my Stand store. And most of all, if you like this podcast, I hope you subscribe and leave a comment.